It was inspired by The Walking Dead. I am a huge Walking Dead fan. I don't like zombies, but I love the apocalypse and the way people deal with the apocalypse. That's what draws me in every time. And so, I was watching it week after week, episode after episode, and then just one night there was this character, and it was an actress that I really liked. I was surprised to see her there, and it was her backstory, but it was just a smidge of her backstory. And she was a mom, a secretary, and she was stuck at work when everything went down. And she talks about how she survived, and that included killing her boss and just toughening up. And now she's a survivor. And the thing that got me was just that she was a mom of 4 girls. And she doesn't say whether she knows they lived or they died. She just says, I was stuck at work while they were at home. And it just got me to wondering, why is this woman still alive? What is she doing? Why is she so brutal? Because I know a few secretaries. Maybe I could have been one of those secretaries that might want to kill the boss. I get that. But here she is, she's still fighting, and she sees herself as being on the right side of things. So what's that all about? Because she doesn't have a problem with killing people. So I just ruminated on it. Like, the character would not leave me. The character's name was Paula. And she just would not leave me. And, over the coming weeks, she would poke me and she'd give me a little piece of information, but she wouldn't tell me what the real reason was. Why did she feel so driven? And then one day it just came to me. She knows her kids are alive. That's why she's still fighting. And perhaps, this Paula character joins up with what our heroes see as the bad guys in order to look for her kids, because they're not far from DC where it all went down for her. So that's how Lizzie's Lost Girls was born. Now, yeah, I'm Elizabeth. Sometimes I go by Lizzie. It just depends on my friend group and, what's going on. But I didn't name her after me. When I realized that it was going to have to be a book, I knew that I had to give Paula a new name. I had to reincarnate her as somebody else. I went with, at first, Priscilla and then Scylla, but it just didn't sound right. And I was going through names, and all of a sudden I landed on Lizzie, and she said, yep, that's who I am. And if you're a writer and you're trying to find names, like, it's a really hard thing to do sometimes, but when the character tells you who they are, believe them. And that's who she was. And like I said, I hate zombies. I find it hard to believe that I'm writing a zombie apocalypse series, but I love my characters. I want to see where they go. I want to see what they do. I'm hoping that they make it. When I sit down at the computer, I don't know if they're going to live throughout that session or not. Sometimes I know they have to die. Like, one of Lizzie's kids had to die. And I knew which one it was going to be. And when the time came, I just couldn't let go. And if you've read the series, you know how I couldn't let go and what I've done about that. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know where the series is going. I have no idea. I don't know when the series will be complete. Don't know what that looks like. But I do know my characters will tell me when they've had enough. And man, I really pile it on them sometimes. And I feel really bad about that, but I know it just makes them stronger. So the next time you're looking to start a new series, and maybe if you don't like zombies, maybe you'll pick up my book and start that series. Well, I'm not super acquainted with guns. I'm not super acquainted with how cars run other than putting the key in. I can put in more windshield wiper fluid or add oil. I definitely can pump gas. But when it gets to the more technical things that I would have to rely on without technology, I probably couldn't do it. So when I'm writing about guns, I have found out a little bit. I try to write from the perspective of my characters. So I found out a little bit to make it plausible. And I don't go that in depth because it's not who I am. When it comes to mechanical things, if I know how it works, then I'm going to write about it. If I don't know how it works, I will research it in, I don't know, a light way. Unless it really requires that I go in depth, I'm not going to do it. And it's not because I don't want to, I just don't think it fits with how I'm writing the series. And I don't think it necessarily fits with who's actually reading the series. So I want to speak to my readers, and I don't want to involve all that technical stuff because I know for me, it can be a turnoff when I'm reading that stuff. And I just get through it because I'm into the characters, but I'd probably prefer that it not be there. It doesn't mean I won't read a book that has it. I just might not get into that part of it. Okay, so why do I think you should read Lizzie's Lost Girls? I think you should read it if you like something fast-paced. I think you should read it if you are someone that is optimistic and always hopeful that something better is going to happen or come along. That's why I think you should read it. I can't promise you a happy ending, but I can promise you some happy endings or some happy events. I would love to make it funny, but I don't know. I'm just not much of a comic